It was a Tuesday. Not a Friday, not some late-night weekend where you'd expect the streets to be unpredictable. A Tuesday. And that's the part that still gets me. Because nothing about that night was supposed to be remarkable. I'd gone to the mall around 8 p.m. to pick up a few things. Nothing urgent. A birthday card for my aunt. Some vitamins I kept forgetting to order online. Maybe browse for 20 minutes and head home. The kind of errand you do on autopilot. The kind of night you forget by Wednesday morning. The mall closed at 9, so by the time I checked out and walked back to the parking garage, most of the lot had already emptied out. That particular garage was the kind that aged badly. The fluorescent lights on level 3 had been flickering for what felt like months, and the elevator always smelled like something had been spilled and never properly cleaned. I always parked on level 2 out of habit, near the stairwell, close to the exit ramp. Familiar. Routine. I remember the sound of my own footsteps echoing off the concrete as I walked to my car. That specific hollow sound a parking garage makes when it's almost empty. I've heard it 100 times. That night, it just felt louder. I pulled out of the garage at 9:14 p.m. I know the exact time because I checked my phone at a red light 2 blocks away, thinking about whether I should stop for food or just eat whatever was left at home. That's when I first noticed the car. Dark blue sedan, or maybe black. It's hard to tell under streetlights. It was sitting 2 cars behind me at the red light. I wouldn't have thought anything of it except that I recognized it. Not the model, not the plates. I recognized it because it had been parked directly across from me on level 2 of the garage. I remembered it because the passenger side mirror was slightly bent outward at an odd angle, catching the light wrong. Small detail, the kind of thing your brain files away without asking permission. The light turned green. I went straight. The sedan went straight. I told myself, same direction means nothing. I made a right on Delwood Avenue, not because it was my usual route home, but because I was still debating food, and there was a chicken spot I liked down that way. Impulsive, last-minute decision. The sedan made the right too. I felt the first flutter of something in my chest. Not full panic. More like the feeling before a storm, when the air changes and your body knows before your mind does. I watched the car in my rearview mirror. It kept a steady distance. 2 car lengths. Consistent. You're being paranoid, I thought. This is a busy street. People turn. I drove another 3 blocks without turning, watching. The sedan stayed. I turned left onto a smaller residential road. The kind of street that only makes sense if you live nearby. There's no destination down that road. No restaurants, no shortcuts to anywhere major. Just houses. The sedan turned left. My hands tightened on the wheel. I ran through every rational explanation I could manufacture. Maybe they live on this street. Maybe they're visiting someone. Maybe the bent mirror is a coincidence and this is a completely different car, and I'm constructing a horror story out of nothing because I watched too many crime documentaries. But I kept driving, and they kept following. I didn't go home. That was the one clear thought that cut through everything else. Do not go home. Whatever this is, whatever this turns out to be, you do not lead this car to your house. I turned again, sharply, onto a cross street I barely knew. The sedan followed. I accelerated slightly. They matched it. By now, my heart was doing something I can only describe as unhinged. Full percussion. I could feel my pulse in my temples, in my throat. My phone was sitting in the cup holder, and I thought about calling someone, but I didn't know what I'd even say. I think a car is following me sounds insane until it doesn't. I made a decision. There's a 24-hour gas station about 1.5 miles from where I was, well lit, usually staffed. Cameras everywhere. The kind of place where nothing bad happens because everything is visible. I drove straight there. No more random turns. No more trying to shake them. I wanted to be seen. I pulled into the gas station lot and parked directly under the brightest light I could find, right in front of the store window. I sat in my car and watched the entrance to the lot. The sedan pulled in. It parked at the far pump. Engine off. Nobody got out. I sat there for 4 minutes. I know because I was watching my phone clock, counting. 4 minutes of a car sitting at a gas pump with the engine off and no one getting out. My doors were locked. My phone was in my hand. I was ready to call 911 and I was trying to figure out if what I had was actually enough to say out loud to a dispatcher. And then the car door opened. A woman got out. Late 40s, maybe early 50s. She was on her phone, mid-conversation, clearly frustrated about something. She walked to the pump, propped the phone between her ear and shoulder, swiped her card, started pumping gas. She didn't look at me once. I watched her for another full minute. She finished, got back in her car, and drove away. In the complete opposite direction from where I'd come. I sat in that parking lot for another 15 minutes before I drove home. I've told this story a few times since then, and every time I do, people land in one of two places. Either they say, "See, it was nothing, you were paranoid," or they say, "But how do you know she wasn't watching you? How do you know she didn't abandon the plan because you stopped in a public place?" And honestly, that second interpretation is the one that stayed with me. Not because I'm certain it's true, but because I was alone on a residential street at 9 p.m., being followed by a car that had no logical reason to be on that road. And the only reason I have any peace about it is because I made a choice that made me hard to get to. The parking garage, the empty lot, the fluorescent flicker, the hollow echo of footsteps. None of those details mattered until they all did at once. I don't take the same route home twice in the same week anymore, and I always park on level 2, near the stairwell, near the exit ramp, close to the fastest way out. Old habits, new reasons. If this happened to you or something like it, trust the flutter, the one before the storm. Your body usually knows first.